Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khairul mursalin. Muhammadin al-Nabi al-Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, yaqulu Allahu ta'ala fil Quran al-Kareem. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu tasliman. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna fatna laka fathan mubin. Truly we have granted thee a manifest victory. It goes on to say that Allah may forgive thee thy faults of the past and those to follow. Fulfill His favor to thee and guide thee to the straight path, and that Allah may help you with a powerful help. It is He who has sent down tranquility to the hearts of the believers, that they may add faith to their faith. For to Allah belongs the forces of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. When we think about our situation and we think about that ayat, Inna fatna laka fathan mubin. We have granted you a manifest victory, a clear victory. Okay, this new period of dispensation that we're in follows a long period. This period that we've been in is probably 2008, 2007, 2000. Yeah, it's just a sort of a paradigm shift. It's a good 12 or 13 years. That's why in 2012 we talked about this is the best period that we have ever been through, and this is smoother, it's clear, because there's no one date when the cycle ends and when it begins. It's a period of time. It's a transitional period. 2012 was a while back, you know. Yeah, it was a while back. But all that period, it was clear to see where we were going because we know where we've been. And the cycle is so familiar that we could almost sleep through this. So now, what does it mean to us, though, as a community? We have granted thee a manifest victory. When you look around the world, when you look at the situation we're in now, when we think and plan and structure what we're going to do in the near future, we believe that that the situation will drop us somewhere way up in the millions in money. If we just have the worst luck in the world, still we point the system out, what it's done, and we point ourselves out. What we have, you have to look at where we are. We have survived 10 and 15 times the level of challenges that anybody has in history. In the black community, the black community, they had 4 or 5 years and that was it. And they moved on everybody in a brutal way. Some they just scared to death, and some retired, some in prison, and what have you. But this whole period for us has been a period of, there was a book once called Survive, Evade, and Escape. So we have survived this whole period. We have evaded and escaped every fitna that you can name for the human being. If the hadith say that your greatest challenge will be women, they've been dropping women by parachute and everything all around, here, Oakland, everywhere. Overseas, they just dropping women. Definitely, maybe trying to trap you. Actually, half of them have been half white and half Indian, half white, half Negro, and what was some of those? Yeah, they've been, because they think the Negro likes mixed yellow women. And you know what? They're not super wrong. But that don't disclaim, there's no disclaimer on dark-skinned women. Shoot, they don't even look at, if they look at Miss Mary and some of the other sisters, Miss Mary was blacker than your shoes. And she's the one that taught me half the game. You know, she was older and everything. And, so they didn't look at, if they looked at all the pictures of all the periods, they would see the standard. I hung around with sisters in our neighborhood. You know, like when you get big rich, you go out of town and get all the pretty girls. I stayed with my home girls that I knew. Shoot, they liked me and they was in my corner. They was, the girls was way more in the corner than because I didn't get rid of them. I said, well, it's time for y'all to go. You know, like how the Negro do when they get to playing basketball and stuff. You don't hang around with the girls that was in the neighborhood. You go to Hollywood and get the straight-haired people. Okay, the white man and the Negro is basically stupid because they all figure that you're like them. So we have survived. You got to remember now, we done survived decades of that. Okay, so that's a clear manifest victory. Shooting at our wealth and property and all of that, we done survived. If there's one piece of property that a person sold in California, we'll get it back because it's illegal to sell it. Everything that happened in our case in court last year, in fact, it was last April 19th, come to think of it. Yeah, it was last year, a year ago. Everything that happened in that court have just built a road to where we can go here, we can go there. And that's basically what we're going to do. But this manifest victory has been on all levels. So, what's the purpose of this victory, this clear victory? It's clear for us and it's clear for everybody. No matter what anybody says, the big shots around or the little shots, all around the country know who Masjid al-Islam is. They know what it stands for. None of them can say they don't, they can't say that. We have a clear record with the immigrant community, the local community, and most of them on some level have been involved in our little shenanigans. Verily we have granted thee a manifest victory, that Allah may forgive thee thy faults. So this is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so you know what it means to us. That Allah may forgive thee thy faults of the past and those to follow. So that's a clean bill of rights. That's me. Just like when Aisha asked him, why you stay up all night praying and crying and carrying on when Allah forgave you all of your sins from the past and the future. He said, shouldn't I be a grateful servant? Right? Shouldn't I be grateful for that? Now remember, the same thing goes up, that Allah may forgive thee thy faults, I'm going to speed up, of the past and those to follow. Fulfill his favor to thee and guide thee to the straight way. So there's all types of favors that will come. Our favor is the stuff that we go through. Well, our one favor we can recognize is millions of favors we don't recognize, you know. Is it, people had that said, may Allah make it easy for you. I said, Allah have made it already. This is easy as it gets. It don't get no more easier. What happened to you out there? I said, that was easy. I said, you saw the video. I jumped right back up and said, and was on the money, this, that, and another. And so Allah had made it easy. And I'll speed up. And that Allah may help thee with a powerful help. Okay. To me, this thing coming, this session that we're in right now, we believe Allah going to help us with a powerful help. And really, that's just part of it. That's the natural part of your belief system. That if you believe in Allah, believe in Islam, you also have the hope that Allah is going to help you in whatever you do, especially in His cause. So this is the way we look at it. And that Allah may help thee with a powerful help. It is He who sent down tranquility into the hearts of the believers, that they may add faith to their faith. That means those that hang in this right now, they already have faith, they got this far. Right? Whoever hung this far got to have faith. Right? Now, Allah gonna add, this is what the Quran is saying here, that He's gonna add faith to their faith. For to Allah belong the forces of the heavens and earth, and Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. But don't forget, dear believers, that we underestimate, I don't care how great a worshiper we are, we still underestimate Allah. Think about it. Look at the things we pray for. Oh Allah, I want a job. Oh Allah, this, that, and another. And this is just a metaphor. And it says that Allah's knowledge is if He stuck His finger in the oceans and pulled it out, then knowledge that we see would get covered a little stuff on our finger, a little water on our finger. If all the trees was pens and all the oceans was ink, it just wouldn't, you'd just be right. And it still wouldn't cover nothing. It would just be the opening. This is the opening. This is the very, very beginning. This is Alif Lam Mim. That's all it could be. Right? And you don't know what that means. So no, this is remember the hadith? I ally unto the believer, this hadith Qudsi, because it's saying I ally, is what the believer expects of me, how he sees me, right? So we feel like we're super duper believers, but we're just almost child's play. It ain't even, I mean, it's just, yes, it is bigger than any Negroes ever, but that ain't that big. Just to be bigger than Negroes, right? That's not that big. In fact, it's what they used to call T-Nancy. It's T-Nancy, it's small. It's, we're not against our people, but our people, it ain't our people, it's the people. The people, Umar said if you had as much faith as a bird, they go out and scratch for food every day and come back belly full every night. Right? And they don't have no, they just have their nature and what they do. That's what they was taught to do. They just taught what was taught to scratch. They wasn't taught to build no dam or to make no bridges or nothing. Right? Or to lay no traps for other animals. They will just have a special worm called, it had a worm, you know, like a duck call or something. They don't have none of that. All they know is we just go out, just like you can tell in the woods, right these woods, when you see all the stuff, the leaves all scratched up, you know that's where the turkeys have been. Because it's moist under those leaves, and there's worms under there, and they ain't got enough sense to know that. Now, a turkey raised in the zoo, he may not have no sense at all. Because all he's used to is the big finding. And then it weighs and measures whatever it is. When you find whatever it is, that's what a paradigm does. Okay. If you want to improve or develop in small steps, focus on attitude and behavior. If you want to move ahead in giant steps, shift your paradigm. How you see the situation and your role in it. Abdul Ali Musa. This is the important thing. How do you see yourself and how do you see your role in it? In this period of time in which we live in, we got two main focuses. Number one on the Negro, and number two on the immigrant community. And so, in this new paradigm that we're forming, we have certain things that we want to do, certain things that we should do. Some of the things go like this, is that first thing we got to do is, like, you forget yourself. We've looked at ourselves all the time because we've been having a fight. You got to know what you're doing. And you got to pay attention to yourself and your enemy. Okay, we would all have to agree that Islam is kept cruising along, and but now we have a situation where it's just like what we did yesterday. Everything involved in that had to do with a paradigm shift. Oh, how does that happen? Well, paradigms go both ways. You have a picture of yourself and how you fit in the global picture, right? That's your paradigm of yourself. That's where your self-esteem comes from. That's where your self-image comes from. That's where all of those things come from. Then you have a social mirror. That's a paradigm of other people. Now, those other people see you in a certain way, and you see them in a certain way. The clearest thing for us is yesterday when we was downtown, as simple, as easy as it was, everybody there saw us different than other Negroes. And even the Negroes, remember the Negroes come up? What y'all doing, man? Oh, we just saying. They was, the ones that were agents were mad. The ones that were not were amazed and almost happy. Y'all doing this? They didn't know why they was happy. They was happy because, hey man, y'all doing something for somebody for nothing. All these trucks around here, ain't none of them passing out no food. It's all simple as that. That's all we did was prepared food. And it affected the paradigm how we automatically see ourselves. We're doing this As-Sabiqun. But the other people, the paradigm shift in thinking is bigger on them. The social mirror is bigger on them. Because no matter what you say, no Negroes, we got to stop comparing ourselves with Negroes, but tell the truth. No Negroes ever give anybody anything. They never have a free meal day down at Masjid Muhammad. They don't even think about it. In the Nation of Islam, you better not ask them for nothing. They're going to ask you. But they don't even think about, hey, let's go down. And we wouldn't have been tired. We would have been feeding the Negro today. But I don't know about you, but you know when you go to them programs and your knee, standing on that concrete, does your knees...
I was exhausted.
Just 2 hours. You saw what I did. I said, well, the brother's in. I moseyed around and picked up the van, but that's about it. I was all in. You know, in fact, I was starting to go in when we had all the stuff here. I set it up there on the table. I called Todd. I said, hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm down here, and I'm da-da-da-da-da. I said, well, that's good. I said, well, we got a little food out here that we needed. And I didn't avoid helping much, but I mean, I didn't help that much. I said, hey, because now that stuff about being young is important. You know what I mean? One trip up them stairs now is not a, hey man, just one trip. Well, after you done cook, because remember standing on that, by the stove and standing on that's concrete downstairs. So that's why for a few days, it's like when the Eid come. When the Eid come, I'm done. That's why at night when it's time for Taraweeh, I say, I gotta go, I'm done. I done did that, that's it. You just don't have no more. And that's not because of age, that's because of, so anyway, but look how the people saw us down there. First of all, they didn't hardly believe it. Then after the food looks good. And then after they taste some of it, hey, this is all right. Okay, the thing about it is it give us a chance, first of all, how good you feel. Hey man, to say it's better to give than receive is a whole lot of truth in that. Just giving away. It's better to take the price off the food down there and we serve and say, that's As-Sabiqun. You can pay if you want, or it don't make no difference. You know, what I'm saying is, definitely, it's better to give than receive. Now, when I say forget yourself, that means we already spent a decade of focusing on ourselves. And the enemy would think 100%. That means ain't nobody helped you, ain't nobody did this, ain't nobody did that. You're not going to be friendly with nobody. That's what they think. And that's why we're doing the opposite. That's why we'll be out there with the Negro next week. Whenever they have a program around, in other words, all the things that are going, looking outward, not inward. There's no closed doors. That's our policy. And it's easy. And the other thing is it's good. You know, I haven't felt that good personally. I don't know how y'all felt, but I haven't felt that good in a long time. And we was just out there a couple of hours. Well, it seemed more like that on the knees and stuff, but that is something that has to do with time. In our thinking, no payback. That means whatever has happened. No payback, no revenge. No revenge comes from what we used to always write in our notebooks to ourselves. No killer instinct. That means if you know that about yourself, you can't force yourself to have a killer instinct because you'll be going against your nature that God gave you. You know, kindness is not a weakness. No, we put kindness, we want to change everybody from saboteurs, snitches, to liberators and freedom fighters, right? Okay. So, it's like La Tatrava, no reproach, no revenge. No, now, okay, for the purposes of clarification, we will still have to clarify some of the things that's happened in the past. Because technically that's the reason we set it all up, but we're going to do as little as possible on what people would think is revenge, or even on clarification. We're going to do as little as possible as far as that's who they are. Why? Because we're looking to the future. Believe it or not, certain things about the government, but a lot of the stuff will deal with what is our attitude. Right? About the whole environmental circumstances. How do we feel about this? Okay, what name do we put on all of this stuff? Right? And remember, what we talked about last, what we call it is basically what it is. Victory or defeat is what you call it. It's what you name it. There's no such thing as defeat unless you accept it as defeat. Now, there's some things that are pretty close to defeat. But if you don't say, what I mean to say is, if you find some good, some positive stuff in it, if you learn some lessons in it, those lessons can possibly be much bigger, twice as big, 10 times as big as the event itself. And remember, that's when the Hadith, the Quran, talks about going from ride to ride. Each event is taking you to one stage after another. Okay, so in our looking at things, this is what we're seeing. That we're going forward. And this is our attitude. And it's nothing like surprising the people. When we was down there yesterday, we'll say it again, it was a surprise. Nobody expected that. It's simple, but nobody expected it. Shoot, next time we go somewhere, we'll be able to do it on whatever level we want. We can go, if it wasn't beautiful a day, but they wasn't on it. Then it rained a little bit Friday, but if it had been clearer, we'd have probably went down there Friday night and Saturday. Okay. But it's a surprise. Everything that we do, our attitude is not F the people, but help the people. Remember, there's 2 or 3 things that the system always works on. Number 1, getting Negroes to fight each other. And number 2 is making you hate the people. They probably stole 50,000 little stuff around it. They do it all the time, every time, to make you suspicious and mad. That ain't working with us. It never have worked, and it definitely ain't working now. We say what one of the great imams said, may Allah make it halal for them. If they want it, may Allah make it halal. You want them shoes? May Allah make them halal for you. Of course, you stole them, but I'm saying we're not going to say F the people, we're going to help the people. That's where we're coming from. We're going to surprise the people. Hey, man, I can't wait to go back to Oakland and just to surprise the people with happiness. Because they're going to think, Brother Tariq will know this better than anybody. When we first started going out with those flyers, after less than a week, first we said, yeah, we need one to say help. We took it, put them in the thing. No flyer for help. Some other flyer we had, too. A few other things we had. We said we stopped doing it. Pretty soon, we wasn't going nowhere. Why? Because that's not that would be the natural thing, because that's what I'm saying. We're going to throw down and we're going to go on out there and we're going to tell the people what happened and we're going to blow this all out of this big propaganda, right? No. We're going to Jesus them to death. Yes, we are. You watch and see. We're going to Jesus them to death. This go around, of course. We already have. But nobody expects the Negro to have that. It's just not in the cards for them. It's not that we're just doing it because they don't expect it. We're not doing it because it's not our nature. And remember, the biggest mistake of organizations is shaping and hurting when they allow the system to affect them and affect their behavior. And they look around in 5 or 10 years and they got all of it's just like the NAACP. I left my phone number with the NAACP. They called me back when I was in California. And they told me, well, we want to get your name. I said, well, I got this case. I just want here's what you do. You send your membership, $30 or something to NAACP. And I said, I just hung up. I said, forget it, man. I said, because at least you was thinking, that happened to you? Oh my God, we got to get busy. We don't have much resources, but we're going to get busy. They ain't said nothing like that. I said, man, forget y'all. They told me to send me a $30 membership, and I can come to the next meeting in 2 weeks. So I'll be dead in 2 weeks. I said, right, think about it. So, But you can imagine a little bit, they have been shaped and herded probably so much that their behavior, they might as well be white folks. They might as well. They're thinking too much about business, too much about survival, and they're not relating to the people's needs. You see what I mean? It's the people that when you leave that arena, you might as well quit doing what you're doing. So I just used the NAACP I said, man, y'all is cold-blooded. I'd hate to really be in need, you know what I mean, of them. When we go to California, we're going to interview the lawyers we want. We're going to interview them. Now, I just tell y'all, remember I told you when the FBI came by here, the attorney from the legal aid stuff, they kept calling me and they said, we'll get you a lawyer anywhere, and especially if you got a lot of good papers, like somebody told me to call them. I said, how much is it a month? They said, $44. So I got $44. So I said, yeah, just put me on the list. So I said, well, I'm going to be out in California in a couple of months, a month and a half, and then I'll talk to you about it. They called me back. The minute the FBI walked down the stairs, they called me back. Now, what exactly is your case? And then I said, well, I got more than one case, but I'm going to deal with a civil case, dealing with the bank first. And that's all you need to know. I mean, they clearly know exactly what somebody of them told them. Well, it's no big deal. No, they play with me, I play with them. I say, well, look, I'll ask them very simply, what's the offer? What do you got? I said, my thing is, for the bank, I want $40 million. What is y'all gonna do? Just, that's what I want. I want $40 million for the way they treated me. If they say that, it's fine. I don't have to go get no big lawyer. Right? But I will interview lawyers. I'll just ask them that as soon as I get there. Or even before. They're going to be just like California. I'm telling you, the whole department down there was in on this case. It was a trespassing case. Everybody was coming through the court and sitting down with notepads. I'm talking about the other attorneys in the public defender's office. Everyone, no, they was in it. Everyone, the judge was in on it. The bailiffs was in on it. The court reporters, because by the time I finish talking, they gonna definitely be in on it. But when I would call them and say I need a transcript or something, I could get it when they wanted to give it. I even had Negroes, our brother Najee. I had Najee, he's a lawyer in Philadelphia. Of course, I can't catch his number anymore for the last 3 months, 4 months. That's okay. But I had him talk to the attorney there, and they gave me a little bit of stuff. But when I call them, they all know. So if I talk to one lawyer and that lawyer's thing, I bet you it's going to be, they got a team. They got a team. They got to have the stuff. It's unbelievable. But we planned it like this. We developed the behavior that would produce targetism. Everything that we got, we did that. We produced that. It's unbelievable. If we wanted something to happen, they would do it. We produced literally everything that happened because we have studied the behavior pattern of the system. But now, where are we going? Allah has blessed us to deal with all those things. There's something called moral imagination. That's when your imagination rules. Not memory. Memory would tell us this niggas did this. That's memory. If we let memory rule our future, that means every time we thought of something, we would have some negative. We're not having any negative view of anything. We're moving forward. We know the game, but that don't make us negative. We just know, this old saying, you got to know how to cheat to stop the cheat. In other words, you know how people do stuff so they can't do it to you. That's all. But the way we see our future is not after people, but help the people. And to be in one of these shows and surprise the people is unbelievable. You just surprise them. That's why this is going to be easier than this part. Okay. Everybody thought this was so hard. Well, what was hard about it? Do you know we never lost one night's sleep on all this? We go back and we go down and we just go to sleep. That's all. We just go to sleep. And coming out of the hospital, there was an interrupted period of when you sleep and when you wake up and stuff like that. Shoot, I just pulled out my pad and start, okay. I'm asleep, now I'm up, and I just start writing, you know, when I'm woke. I don't know, there's no difference if you're at night, you may write for 2 or 3 hours and then go back to sleep again because they've interrupted your schedule. Now this is back to normal, but we never lost any sleep about none of this stuff that go on. So that's why it was easy. And this ayat, I'm going to go over this ayat again, then I'm going to try to wrap it up. Verily we have granted thee a manifest victory. A clear victory, manifest victory. Was inna fatna laka fathan mubin. Everybody can see it. It's clear. It's like al-bayina. Everybody can see that. That's clear. Everybody saw everything. Can you imagine? Just think about Oakland. That everything is so clear, it's stupid. One of the videos showed me standing in the door and the Arabs, white shoe wearing Arabs, is invading the masjid. They hardly come there before. They just come. And most people, that's sad, poor man is being invaded. I had just written, that was only 5, 6 years ago. I wrote 10 years before that we're the only independent African-American masjid left. That's what we done already wrote. And now, here they come with a perfect byline. Arabs and Negro Zionists, Afro-Zionists. invade Masjid al-Islam. And look what happened in Oakland. Before, we had school, we had this, we had that, all of those things. What have they done in Oakland in the last 5 or 6 years? They don't even go to the masjid except on Jummah. They haven't had a mailbox. All the mailboxes go out somewhere to Berkeley or somewhere. Or go down to the school and we pick it up once a week. Everything in East Oakland is dead. The school has not been open for almost a decade. The masjid is open for 1 hour a week. That's it. They don't do nothing else there. Mubin, clear. This is the clearest evidence you can have. What's the purpose? Is it that this mean old imam have been stifling and choking the community? Or was the goal to cut off all activity, Islamic activity in East Oakland and shift it to North Oakland? During the same period of time, all Islamic activity in East Oakland is dead. All Islamic activity in North Oakland has blossomed, bloomed, exploded, as we would call it. Then that had to be the purpose. You know what that is? It's mubin. It's clear. It's evident. You can't hide it. And then all of the other stuff associated with it. What is the reason for all the fitna? Nothing. Not one concrete statement. Not one concrete statement. Some of the people sent me a text the other day and said, "Oh, now you negotiate with the FBI. You look at all the lives you've ruined." I just said to myself, because he said a text or something. I said, lives are ruined. And I was thinking about D.C. I said, how many lives we ruined here in D.C.? Right? How many lives we ruined in L.A. and Seattle and everywhere? How many lives, you know what I mean? You started all this trouble. That's what the people, that person is still trying to sell that story. Who's buying it? Nobody. Anybody buy that story, they're going on the list of insane people. And them phony so-called Black Panthers out there, you know, the ones that wear their pistol on their chest and sideways. See, we was during the payback days, we was going to really humiliate everybody. It was a sign to show that this is how, you know. But we're going to do as little of that as possible. Why? Because the world is in dire straits. The world needs life-saving, life-giving information. And when do they need it? They need it right now. So that's why we're talking about paradigm shift. A paradigm is like a map. The map shows us where things are and how they relate to one another. Okay. Likewise, we create paradigms of people, companies, ethnic groups, countries, governments, political parties, of everything, in fact, even ourselves. That means we create paradigms of people, companies, ethnic groups. We create paradigms ourselves because We want to make it easy to identify people. It's like stereotyping. That's kind of what it's like. Stereotyping is not 100% accurate, but it's up there, 80, 75, 80% accurate, stereotypes. So, some people would ask the question, it's come to me even about a success plan for the near future. It's a success plan. I said, I don't know. I said, let's call it a success map. Because a map kind of shows you where things are, and if it's a map, you can adjust. Not a map that had a city here, and a country here, and all that, but a type of pictorial representation of reality. So we call it a success map, not a success plan. Success plan for the next 5 years, where's things going to be in 5 years from now? It was 5 years ago. No, it was 2011. Good God Almighty, it was 6, 7 years ago when we come up with the stuff. There will be no Arab Spring and all that. Sisi, they just had a doggone vote the other day. This guy's gonna have them vote him in till 2030. God, I said 2030, you already been in there. Man. And then when 2030 come, if it come, you're gonna have it to 2050. And he's young enough, he might make it. This is insane. But nobody was ready for that. Everything that's happened in the last decade, look at Daesh, ISIS, all of these people. Here come ISIS and Daesh riding down the road, a line of trucks, all Toyotas, white Toyotas for miles. Isn't that right? And they suppose that just happened. I mean, you can't get 10 people together and somebody that financed, organized, and structured, and paid, and like in Mosul, they paid those Iraqi generals, Shia or Sunni, they paid them to walk away. Some of the soldiers in Mosul said, we didn't know what to do. The generals just packed up. They didn't, so they didn't know what to do. They're the soldiers. They don't know what to do. So we're in a unique position. But 5 years, how are you going to know what's going to happen in 5 years when, but we got a pictorial representation. And we're using our ability to forecast. That's been successful so far. You got to remember, 2006, Bashir Room, three of those DVDs. Good News, Lebanon, remember? They was crying with gator tears. Oh, this is terrible here. No, that's good news. And Hezbollah combined second and third generation weapons and new combinations to wear out the Zionist fourth generation weapons. And Iran says now they new jets, all their stuff is fourth and fifth generation. Can you imagine? You see the little jet fighter they got? You don't know how slick that boy is. And one thing about production, you get better and better. The Japanese call it kaizen. Slow, steady improvement. You look up in 10 years, and Iran gonna be rolling. And we used to worry about the Islamic Republic. Allah is taking care of it, just like Allah is taking care of us. Allah is taking care of it. Yes, they have things they deal with all the time. But they're independent, their agriculture, the tomatoes are twice as heavy as the tomatoes here almost. And red tomatoes. The lettuce in the store is serious lettuce. It's heavy. It's good. The milk don't taste like the milk here, and the eggs don't taste the same either. It actually tastes better. Tastes like real milk. You know, if they're giving people things to make them, you notice how light the egg yolk is in America? When Mexico was low on eggs, Mexico wouldn't take the eggs here. Because Mexico's hens, they lay once a day. They have sabor, they have taste. The chickens here, they flip on the light, flip off the light, and the chickens lay another egg because they ain't got enough sense to know that it's not another day. So you notice how light yellow, we done got so used to it.
Yeah.
Unless you buy brown eggs, though the egg, the yolk is super light yellow. Okay, so we'll get on here. So, success map, not a success plan. Okay. No social media. The idea that we should live from imagination and not from memory refers to a social mirror. The social mirror is based on our memory of how other people have treated us or reacted to us. Our potential, on the other hand, is based on what we imagine we might become. In other words, as I said earlier, we're in the state of how do we see ourselves? How do we see our role? How do we maximize our potential? Potential is powerful, potential is potent, but potential has not been fully developed. So that's what we are into now. Like we say, moral imagination. The virtue of focusing on our own paradigms is that we, not others, control our paradigms. We, not others, control our paradigms. Changing a paradigm is bound to have a positive effect. In addition, changing to a more positive paradigm will probably allow others to be more willing to hear our points of view. If we hollering at everybody and cussing everybody out, they may not be willing to listen. But if we're courteous, kind, and feed the people, whatever we say has some weight, because the people we've been feeding don't say, those are nice people. Why are you not listening to them? I was going to mention some of the things that have happened in the last several years. The Islamic Revolution, defeat of the Soviets, the Gulf War in '91, September 11th, U.S. invasion of Afghanistan, U.S. invasion of Iraq, defeat of the Zionist invasion of Lebanon, Hezbollah. Those are things that have happened. Those are each one of those are a small paradigm shift. Because the revolution in Iran was brand new. They didn't expect it, and they didn't expect it to last. As soon as they had it, the Russians, not that they cooperate with the U.S., invaded Afghanistan. But when they went in as the Soviet Union and they left as Russia, that'll teach them a lesson. The Gulf War, 91, September 11th, the FBI here said something. And I was talking about, what did we used to talk about all the time? I said, do you think somebody believes that Daesh or ISIS put an advertisement on the media, I said, if they did that, I said, they would, out of 1,000 people, they would have 900 agents from all over the world.
In this video, I'm going to show you what I think is one of the cheapest and best ways to stream on Facebook Live or YouTube.
French Foreign Legion.
Hello, I'm Stephen Ballast. Welcome to my channel where I explore worship technology solutions. Live streaming is In this video, I'm going to show you the system I recommend for live streaming with an external camera and how to live stream to Facebook or YouTube.
Black Lives Matter. You ever heard of
Hello, I'm Stephen Ballast. Welcome to my channel where I explore worship technology solutions. My most popular video to date has been about how to live stream with an external camera. Well, that video was made over a year ago. Technology and features have kept moving right along, and live streaming seems to be exploding everywhere. So I'm going to show you my updated for 2018 recommended system for live streaming to Facebook Live or YouTube. There are 3 parts to the live streaming video chain. The video source, which could be a single camera or a video switcher with multiple cameras, the video interface, and then the computer and streaming software. I have a whole video about how to select a camera for live streaming, and another about how to use a video switcher with multiple cameras. You can find those linked in the description below. Right now I'm using my favorite entry-level camera that I recommend for anyone just getting started, and that's the Canon Vixia R800. Like a certain company's products, who I won't name, where you have to install a bunch of software and drivers and then they...
Set of the things that are going on here that we see are manufactured.
All of which make it great for starting out your live stream. For the video...
Some white folks, all of that. But they was looking, they was getting antsy. I said, that's the way it is. If anybody thought I was talking to them like, oh, I didn't do anything, they got the wrong idea. I told them people just what I talk about all the time. Okay. So, self-determination, self-esteem. And we'll close by what we talked about, looking at others, paying attention to other people, surprise other people. Never allow the system to turn you inward. Even if you do, it's just for a while. Maybe to fool them, or maybe you just don't feel like looking out for a few days. But closed doorism is a dead letter. Rid yourselves of your depression and apathy. Improve your methods and programs of propagation. Try diligently.
3 parts to the live streaming video chain. The video source, which could be a single camera or a video switcher with multiple cameras, the video interface, and then the computer and streaming software. I have a whole video about how to select this, the video interface. You have the power, courage, and a sense of strategy needed to struggle for liberty and independence. You succeeded in waking the people and inspiring them to struggle will cause imperialism and tyranny to tremble. Day by day, you are accumulating more experience, and your ability to deal with affairs of society is increasing. Once you have succeeded in overthrowing tyranny, you will certainly be capable
of administering the state and guiding the people. That has come true. This was a while back. This was Ruhollah Musavi al-Khomeini. He's on the money. He's still our hero. They can say what they want. You know what the Fed said? I said, yeah, I know everybody. Y'all know I know everybody over there. You know Zarif? And I said, I know all the people. You know that. Stop asking them silly questions. I said, y'all saw the pictures of the Rock Bar and all of those people. Every president. Did you know Khomeini? I said, no, I didn't know him. But I was in his presence. What the hell I'm gonna be knowing everybody? You know, I know what he say, I know what he told us to do, and that's what we're doing. I said, let me tell you what I told other FBI when David Speeds and all of them. Said, they asked me what I do if I saw something happening, would I tell them? I said, hell no, I wouldn't tell y'all. Y'all worse than the people. I said, but I would stop them. The Quran says that the protection of churches, synagogues, mosques, any houses in which Allah's name is mentioned, it's our duty to secure and protect them. I said, so if somebody told me, you don't go in the synagogue, I would grab them and bust them upside the head. But I wouldn't bring them to you. Especially probably the ones that sent them. What am I gonna do bringing them back to you? So anyway, I'll close with this. When they left the other day, they said, well, you don't have to worry about us no more, 24/7. This is the last time you'll see us. I said, that's great, that's great. That's what they said. It has no bearing on reality. They said that whatever is going on, we're not being driven. We may not be controlling the whole thing, but we're not being driven. We're not being taken for a ride. We are managing our own destiny that coincides with our status and our history. So thank y'all very much. Aqulu qawli hadha, astaghfirullah li wa lakum. Are there any questions or anything anybody have?
None.
No questions, no comments.
Hey man, when we projected Ramadan to start?
The new moon is May 4th, so this,
Maybe the 6th.
that's exactly right. That's what they're thinking, the 6th.
It's a Monday.
I wouldn't be surprised though. You know, they might start on the right day. It's been shocking. You know, we haven't had 3 Eid days, different Eid days in a year, over 20 years. We cut down to 2, and then something happened. Everybody's, the last few years, we've been going out about the same time and coming in about the same time. So, alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's what the date is projected to be, the 6th of May. So we go with that. Are there any other questions or comments? What we're going to try to do though is really, we're going to try to make this whole year, this Ramadan, the other thing, some of our friends have, I guess you can cut those off. some of our friends have kind of pulled back a little bit on support, but we can take some of our pictures and show them, and say, look, man,